Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today is March the 14th on Monday. Harry, a prince to a jester. And remember, this is in the video that Megan made for her 40 by 40, and we never heard how that turned out. He's outside juggling outside. He is just like a court jester. Our disclaimer. Harry makes a promo for the Invictus Games. It's going to be held at Hague, and this is absolutely ridiculous. The man looked like a child doing a middle school homework project. Notice the picture copyrighted by Backgrid, who Megan likes to use. Harry, this was such a bad look for you, and it just made you look like a more of a man-child than you ever have. I think about a year ago when the Queen sits alone at her husband, Prince Philip's funeral and saying her last farewells. And because of COVID, she couldn't even sit with the other family members. They had to be social distance. Harry kicked up a stink about going, and then he and Andrew wanted to wear military uniforms, and the Queen had to step in, even at the lowest point in her life, to kind of keep the family arguments, to get them settled. That this was just the most heartbreaking thing. And it said, with COVID precautions and social distancing guidelines in place, the Queen had to sit alone in the chapel during the ceremony. Justice Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, told Today. Remember, this is the one that Megan said in the chicken coop with Oprah a year ago, that they had a ceremony 3 days before the spectacle. So the other thing that bothers me about this, well, here he is at the funeral. And remember, she did the big wreath and had to do the write-up of all the things that were included in the wreath and what each thing meant. And because she had to get an article since she wasn't going to be there. And there was no reason why she couldn't go. I don't think her pregnancy or at where she was in the pregnancy would have made a difference. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. So a year ago was the Oprah interview. So as they're talking to Oprah Winfrey, Prince Philip is dying in the hospital and not doing well at all. And they knew that this was going to be very upsetting to him. And it was. I mean, if this didn't do him in, I don't know what else would have. Why were you guys telling so many lies? Daily Mail said he can go to the Netherlands but not see his own grandmother. Prince Harry clowns around in orange for video plug and Invictus Game events to be held in Holland next month, just hours after announcing he will miss Prince Philip's memorial service. This is his grandfather, how he couldn't go back and be a part of that. But no, he's got this whole thing with suing the Home Office for Met protection because he wants to be an IPP, an internationally protected person, so that wherever he and Meghan go, they'll be treated like royalty and get free officer protection. He's just the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, suing his own grandmother's government. So I'm glad that they didn't award this to him, that they didn't even give him a temporary type of security. He knows that he's protected if he's doing something to do with royal events, but they're not going to protect them and rush them around town without having to stop for lights, just to plug and tape their own Netflix ideas. And Megan, this was an excuse that you used to Harry, in my opinion, to manipulate him to say that you wouldn't go and take your kids because they wouldn't be safe. So then Harry tries to go and does this stupid lawsuit, which backfires on him, because we found out that even though he said he wanted to pay for that protection, which you can't do, he didn't initially do that in the lawsuit when he sent that to the Home Office. Prince Harry has been criticized for releasing a video promoting this year's Invictus Games just hours after confirming he won't attend Prince Philip's memorial service later this month. And we were told that it was 15 minutes notice before it was going to be published. So that's how the family found out. 15 minutes before, it was basically like Mexit. They found out just right before they were doing the final goodbye and doing their Royal Sussex or Sussex Royal announcement about them stepping down. The light-hearted footage was released just hours after he announced he would not travel to Britain to attend his grandfather's Thanksgiving service this month. While the prince will not be at Westminster Abbey on March the 29th, his spokesperson said he would attend the sports competition for wounded servicemen and women at The Hague starting October the 16th. And this, as the Queen's diary is under review, as the 95-year-old monarch accepts her frailties of long life are catching up with her, Her Majesty. This just breaks my heart. So he does the Oprah interview, and all of these lies come out as his grandfather's dying. Now when his grandmother is having to cut back on her official duties during, I might add, her Platinum Jubilee, Harry does this whole security row and keeps everybody, just tore up inside at what he's going to do next because he's a loose cannon. They have no idea. If you have these kids and they belong to you, take them to see your grandmother and the rest of your family. You're doing harm and damage to your own children. Looks to me like you were treated very well. And to go and throw these type of daggers at this family. Shame on you. Shame on you. So what's it like when you're growing up in a dysfunctional family? And it can leave the children emotionally scarred and affect them throughout their lives. So, Harry, you talked about generational hurt. You talked about the dysfunction in your own family and how it negatively impacted your own life. Well, now you're doing the same thing to your own children. Do you not recognize that circle, if that did even happen? Aggression can come out with kids' behaviors typified by belittlement, domination, lies, and control. They're going to get older and they're going to see the lies. Limited affection, the absence of physical or verbal affirmations of love, empathy, and time spent together. This is what they're missing out on with their extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, great-grandmother. Neglect, no attention paid to another, and then discomfort around family members. You're going to make them, if they ever do get to meet them, very awkward because they have no connection with them. And you're doing this. You and your wife are choosing to do this to your own children. They could become violent. They can make threats and use of physical and sexual abuse. These are some of the things that can happen in a dysfunctional family. So would you please get your shit together and do this? Self-examination is the process of accountability to your soul. It is far better to become your truth than to speak your truth. Self-examination is the practice of becoming your truth. You need to search inside yourself and find out what's wrong with you and hold your own self accountable for your actions, because you're not fixing anything by throwing stones at everyone else that you're blaming for your own unhappiness. Did you ever think that the situation that you're in is what has created your unhappiness? And can you really say that you and Megan have a peaceful home environment? Because I would think that there would be lots of shouting and screaming and snapping at one another and verbal arguments. Think about what this is doing to your kids, because they pick up on it, and kids are very smart, and they're going to remember this. So let me know what you think in the comments below.